In this video, I want to talk about the trouble that we can get into by using too many superlatives when we express our opinions. In other words, I want to talk about getting hooked on superlatives. As we learned in earlier classes, nouns are really just the names that we give to things. For example, this thing here, the name we give to it is table. And adjectives are just words and phrases that give us more information about the nouns. Now, superlatives are a form of adjective which gives us information about a person or thing in a group that tells us how that person or thing is different from everything else in the group. For example, smallest is a superlative, and you would say this circle is the smallest circle in this group of circles. Biggest is a superlative, and we could say this circle is the biggest circle in this group of circles. You can see with these simple words that to form the superlative, all we do is add est to the original adjective, or in this case, double the last consonant before we add the est. We double the consonant because it's a short word and it ends with a vowel and a consonant. In some cases where the English adjective is very long, we can't just add est because it's too difficult to say the word. We can't say beautifulest. It's much more easy to say most beautiful or most important. And so that's the way the English do it. And of course it wouldn't be English unless there were some adjectives that follow no rules at all. So here's two very common examples of that. Good becomes best in the superlative, and bad becomes worst in the superlative. Where we can run into trouble is where we overdo our use of superlatives in our descriptions of people and things. For example, I might have just had a pizza that I really liked, and I could say the pizza is good. But if I'm going to exaggerate, I would say the pizza is the best. And if I have a boss that I really don't like, I could say the boss is bad. But I also might choose to exaggerate and say that boss is the worst. Now, it might seem like these little exaggerations are harmless, but I think I can convince you that actually it can be quite serious with what I'm going to say next. You know, it's impossible for me to say why it is that some people seem to exaggerate more than others. But I do know that it seems to be habit forming. And some people exaggerate so much that the only way that they know that they are doing it is if somebody else tells them so. So you need to really control this kind of speech. And I'm going to give you a few specific reasons why. First of all, I think that exaggeration grows out of a laziness of thinking. It actually takes hard work and hard thinking to describe people and things accurately. But if you're someone who exaggerates all the time and is going to overshoot the description anyways, then you don't have to worry about being correct or accurate in your descriptions. Unfortunately, this constant exaggeration will weaken your thinking, just like not exercising weakens a muscle. And it will also weaken your awareness of the world around you. Number two, I think that you should control your exaggeration because of the risk it brings to relationships. There are people in the world, like your family, friends, customers, colleagues, all who trust your word. If they end up making big mistakes because of your exaggerations, they're going to blame you. You're going to lose your reputation as a good thinker and as someone with good taste, and even worse, it's possible that you will lose the relationship. Number three, is there's also a possibility that you may end up confusing yourself. If you exaggerate enough, you're going to probably start believing your own exaggerations. And then you're going to have trouble telling the difference between what is an exaggeration and what is the truth. So when you don't control this exaggeration, there's a big tendency there for it to be self-destructive. One final point I want to make is this. Unless you're a poet or a writer or some other kind of artist trying to create beauty, I don't see how exaggeration is actually helpful to anyone. And speech that is not helpful to anyone perhaps should be left unspoken. In conclusion, I want to say that you should be wise and take your time before you express an opinion. It may turn out that things are not as good or as bad as they first seem. Maybe a superlative is not necessary in this situation. And if you find yourself forced to express an opinion, tend to make it a soft and gentle opinion until you're sure of the situation. One last thing. Of course, you must think very, very carefully when somebody is speaking to you and giving great praise or great criticism about something or some person. The first thing you should do, if you hear a lot of superlatives from this person, is ask the reason why. Try to discover this reason before you do anything or before you even believe it. It could be exaggeration. Better still, wait till you can see the situation or person with your own eyes. There's an old saying in our culture, truth is often seen, but rarely heard. Okay, again I've used some big words in this video. I'm going to say them over again now, slowly, so you can practice the pronunciation after me. Superlative, hooked on, exaggeration, concentrate, reputation, confusion, relationship, praise, and criticism. Okay, so I know that what I've covered in this video may seem quite difficult to some of you. Play it over a few times, and if you still have difficulty, please bring your questions to class. See you later.